Hi everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I am back as promised with my antique store haul. So I found a new antique store in a neighboring town and it was pretty fabulous. So on this tray is a selection of items I found there and one or two other pieces that I've sourced recently. So let's get started. One of the first things I found when I walked in was a full display of hanging beads, and I saw this really beautiful necklace hanging up there, and these looked like natural turquoise to me. And as I looked closer, I noticed that this was in fact sterling silver, and it is marked DTR or Desert Rose Trading. So this is a J. King 5-strand turquoise necklace with sterling silver findings. And I don't believe they realized this was silver because this was priced at $10, which I thought was an incredible price. So this was one of the first things I grabbed. And then on that same wall, I also saw this just really beautiful clear quartz chip necklace. So I have a few of these in different gemstones. I have an amethyst one, a rose quartz one, a peridot version, and I just thought this one was really beautiful. I think this was $5, so not too bad on price point there. I just thought it was nice. These chip necklaces, one, you can wear them long, but if you have an enhancer, you can double them up and hook the enhancer here. So it's kind of a double strand, and I just think they're really beautiful and useful. So yeah, I just didn't have this type of stone. So I picked that one up. And then I have one more sort of beaded type piece. This was hanging in a different location, but this is a garnet beaded necklace. And I've seen these before, but I just didn't own one myself. So I thought it was a nice opportunity to grab one at a pretty good price. So you can see it's threaded through all of these little beautiful garnet beads. And these are more on that sort of purple tone side of garnet. Really, really beautiful. Was happy to find this piece. And now this one was in a case, and I just thought it was really, really beautiful. So we have this purple glass teardrop, but it is really beautifully molded or carved. Here's what the back of that looks like. You have these gorgeous amethyst glass round beads and these detailed little brass beads. Just really beautiful. And even these little tube purple beads here, just really gorgeous. Here's what the clasp looks like. I believe this to be check glass. I just loved the color on this, and I loved this pendant piece. I thought this was very nice, so I grabbed this one. And I also found this one hanging with a selection of necklaces, and I've actually had this piece before. So it's a gold tone cat with this really beautiful glass orb, and the little ball here does spin, and the cat has little rhinestone eyes. And I've actually already sold this piece. So I've had this one before and it sold really quickly. I listed this one as well as soon as I got it, and it sold the same day. So maybe I'm pricing them too low. I'm not sure. I think I purchased this for $5 and I listed it for $35, and it sold pretty immediately. So yeah, I just thought he was really adorable, and I knew that people do collect this piece and have some interest in it because I have bought and sold it before, and it's just a really cool piece. So yes, I'm going to be shipping this one out tomorrow. So I did want to make this video in order to show it to everyone here. Now this tiny little pin I just thought was beautiful. This was only $2, and I believe it's just a base metal, just some brass tone metal here. Here's what that clasp looks like. But it's just some really beautiful enameling. And I thought it was worth saving from that shop. Very, very sweet, tiny little pin, but really beautiful. And I definitely thought it was worth more than $2, so I grabbed this one. There were a few brooches and pins that I picked up. This one here is sterling silver, and it is a flower or a posy holder, and I just thought it was really beautiful. It is marked sterling here on the back, and here's what that clasp looks like. So I think this is, you know, probably not a Victorian era, not quite that old, but still vintage, and I thought it was really beautiful. And their prices there were great, so I did grab this piece. Then another sterling silver brooch that I've found there. This one was only $10 and I just loved the design. So we have a bird and this apple, and you know, the pin itself is shaped like an apple. Just thought it was really interesting. And this one is marked on the back upside down. This one is marked handmade sterling. So other than that, I don't know the maker or how old this might be, but I just thought it was interesting and I thought it was a great price. Really pretty. Then we have this sterling silver piece. It has little tiny coral stones, bezel set there. Here's what the back looks like. No markings, and it is quite tarnished, but I just thought it was really pretty and worth picking up. It almost has a Native American look to me. I don't believe that this is, but I've seen, you know, shapes like this with coral pieces, so it just kind of reminded me of that type of jewelry, but I'm not quite sure how old this is or who made it. But I just liked it. Sometimes that is all it takes for me. I buy what I like, and if something speaks to me, I grab it. And they had a little tray of rings. I'm just gonna grab all three of these. The rings were all priced at $2 a piece, so I definitely had fun looking through them. This first one here I just thought was gorgeous. This is a costume ring, but look at that beautiful blue center stone and the surrounding blue stones. They were all there, and I did notice that it was marked inside LA Vintage, which I believe is a QVC brand. But yeah, I just thought this was a really well-made quality costume ring. So I grabbed that for $2. And then this piece, similarly, I just thought this was a really nice tiger's eye stone, some pretty faux yellow faux citrine stones on the side. And this one is not marked. There is a marking here that just says, I think it's just the ring size in there. Of course, it's not going to focus for me, but it doesn't have a metal marking or a maker's mark. So this might just be a plated costume ring, but I thought it was sweet for $2. And then this one I thought was very interesting. So this is actually a puzzle ring, and I believe this is sterling silver. Again, it's not marked and it's quite tarnished here. But you can see that there are 4 different rings, and they actually have it held together with a wire here just so that they didn't get lost, because they're kind of hard to figure out how to put back together. If you've ever seen these rings, I actually have another one in my collection that I haven't actually been able to figure out how to put back together. So I think it's kind of interesting that they chose to keep them wired that way. But yeah, I just picked this up because I thought it was interesting more than anything. And yeah, I believe it is sterling, so I'm gonna need to test it, but I thought that was cool. Oh yeah, and then this was in a little tray of trinkets and pins and keychains, and I think he was $2 as well. He's just this carved stone face. This is an alpaca piece, and on the back you have that sundial design that I've seen before. I think it's an Aztec sundial. But yeah, I thought he was nice. I've seen similar carved faces or masks like this in Tasco jewelry, and I don't know, I just thought he was worth saving. Maybe wearing as a pendant. Thought he was quite cool. And then this piece was hanging up on a rack of crystal beaded jewelry, and they were all really nice, but I loved the clasp on this one, and I picked it up in the hopes that it might be uranium glass. So we're going to test that right now. I have my black light here, and yeah, so nice and glowy uranium glass. Really cool. So these are really beautiful, almost saucer shaped glass beads. You have these clear little spacer beads as well. And yeah, just a really beautiful necklace, and was happy to confirm that it was in fact uranium glass when I got home. Pretty cool one. And this is just a little gold filled bracelet. I just thought it would be nice to add charms to. And it is marked gold filled on the clasp there. So nothing too special here, but just a nice wearable gold filled bracelet. Oh, and then these pieces. These actually did not come from that antique store, but I forgot to share them with you last time, so I thought I would. I love glass fruit and food jewelry. I have a little collection of it, and I found these in that ThredUp box. And these are little chili peppers, and I think they're so, so fun. So you'll notice that this earring is this one here is a little bit longer than this one. So I think what I might do is take some of the end pieces here and turn it into a necklace and match the size of the earrings to turn it into a necklace and earring set. But yeah, the earring hooks here are sterling silver, and you've got these really fun blown glass chili peppers. I love these. I think they're really fun and kitschy and cool. So I just wanted to share those with you. And then next, I had to pick this up because I recently just learned what this was. So I had recently watched a video, and I wish I could remember whose video it was here on YouTube, talking about this type of shell. And this was apparently a trend in Victorian jewelry to use operculum. It was a trend to use this type of snail shell. So this is actually part of the shell of a snail, which I think is very, very interesting. But this is all set in sterling. I'll show you the back. It's quite tarnished. Definitely has some age to it. And here is the clasp, also marked sterling. But yeah, I just thought it was really fun. It's fun when you learn something new and then you're able to spot something out when you're shopping and at an antique store. They just had this labeled as shell, so I don't think that they knew exactly what this was, and they also had it priced very reasonably. So I did pick this up, really just to add to my own collection and to learn. Got that piece. Oh, and you know what? Here is another ring I forgot to show. I also found in this ring, in the little $2 ring, little ring case, this really pretty little Cameo ring, and this is just gold electroplated, so not super valuable, but I thought she was pretty. Yeah, and I thought that was definitely worth $2. She might be resin, she might actually be shell. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it too much. But yeah, just a sweet little Cameo ring. And then probably the most interesting piece is this one here. So this one was hanging on a stand with a bunch of other necklaces. I almost missed it, but this is a Victorian morning hair piece. So unfortunately, it is missing the other end here. So it is damaged, but I just couldn't leave it there. I've actually never found one of these at my local antique stores, so I had to grab it and rescue it. It was kind of hidden amongst a whole rack of other necklaces, so I thought this was very interesting. I think the other end would have some sort of hook, and I don't know if this is a necklace or if this is a watch fob. I've been trying to do research and I've been seeing different names for these, so yeah, I believe this is rolled gold, this piece here in the middle and the findings at the end. And I thought it was very interesting that it also had this little horseshoe piece. So yeah, I know some people don't like these pieces, they find them a little odd or creepy even, but I think they're a piece of history and I think they're quite beautiful. So I was pretty happy to find this piece and rescue it from the rack of jewelry before it was damaged any further. So yeah, I thought this was an interesting piece and my first piece of morning hair jewelry that I've ever found out at a store. And then I found this little jewelry box or jewelry casket, and it definitely has some wear, but I just thought it was really interesting. You can see the remnants of the old silk cushion there. Yeah, but just a really pretty small jewelry box. And I thought maybe I could find a way to regild some of these pieces. I know they sell those gold pens and paint, so that might be a project for me at a later date. But this one I thought was really nice, and again, price was right, so I grabbed this. And then finally, this was another Shop Goodwill find, another listing that they didn't have marked as Tiffany. So these are sterling silver Tiffany earrings. They are the infinity symbol with freshwater pearls, and the marking on these is really hard to see, which I'm not surprised that they missed. So it is marked on the earring backs as well as on the post, but of course the post I'm sure will not pick up here on camera. But that is where they're marked on the post back there. They're marked T&Co 925. So So yeah, this is a retired collection and I recognize them. I think these ended up selling for around $20, so a nice little score from Shop Goodwill. So yeah, that was my little antique store haul. I thought there was some really interesting pieces. You know, we have some Victorian era pieces that I really loved, some nice gemstone pieces, and this check glass necklace I think is really, really beautiful. So yeah, I was happy with all of my finds there. Let me know what you thought about this haul, if you had a favorite piece, or if any of these were something you would have picked up at an antique store as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.